Hi guys, Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness, my journey with PTSD, trauma and stressor-related disorder. And I wanted to talk to you today about a topic that a lot of you will just click on by sleep disorders and sleep disturbances. But as I laugh a little bit about it, it is a very, very real thing to deal with and to battle with if you are dealing with PTSD and trauma and stressor related disorder. And it can manifest itself in a lot of different ways. And for me, sleep apnea, insomnia were two of the major ones that I had to figure out. And most of them were driven by two things: alcohol and anger. And I wanted to talk about 8 things tonight very quickly that helped me in my battle and journey with overcoming my issues with sleep. We know that sleep is very, very important for overall health. That goes without being said. And number one is I want to talk about temperature. There have been a lot of studies that have been done on the optimal temperature, and from what I've learned and from what I've read, it's 68 degrees or cooler. And so one of the things that I did to help with my insomnia is that I got a little cubed Arctic air, whatever they are, that help cool on top of your air conditioning or your central air that you might have. And it also helps with white noise, which is number two. White noise, whether it be a fan or whether it be a machine that makes a white noise, is known to help people with their sleep. And I know a lot of people that use them, and I have used them as well. So that may be an option for you that could help you. If you have sleep apnea, one of the things that I can tell you you're very fortunate is that when you get a diagnosis of sleep apnea, one of the sneaky things about sleep apnea is that you, as a rule of thumb, don't know that you have sleep apnea because the episodes that you have happen when you are not conscious of them happening. So it was my wife that caught the fact that my alcoholism had caused me to develop sleep apnea, which is essentially deep snoring that eventually just shuts off your breathing and you completely stop breathing. All of this while you're asleep, and then your body, as if it was being snuffed out or drowned, struggles to gasp for air, and it may wake you or it may not wake you, but going through that cycle of almost being drowned or almost being snuffed out every single night over and over and over again is not good on your body, and it affects all sorts of your systems and can really, really be dangerous actually. People die from sleep apnea. So if you have a significant other that notices that you're stopping breathing in the middle of the night because of your snoring, please get that addressed. If you are struggling with alcohol use, please go back and listen to my 2 videos on overcoming alcoholism. I really want you to wear that as a badge of honor in overcoming chemical dependency as well. That is the thing that drove my sleep apnea. The other thing that I really struggle with yet, and it's driven by anger and irritability, is insomnia. And so I've listed 2 things that have helped: temperature and white noise. Another simple thing that works for me is ice cream. A little bit of ice cream before I go to bed has really helped me recently with my issues with insomnia. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's any science behind it or if it's simply a comfort food, but it works for me. Unfortunately, one of the other things that I've had to do for almost a year now, if not more than a year, is that I do sleep in a separate bedroom than my spouse. It is one of the very sad realities of battling PTSD that can manifest itself. And I do it for two reasons. One, so I don't keep her awake as I thrash and as I toss and turn and roll around and adjust pillows and get up and go back to bed and get up and go back to bed. And also for myself, so I don't have to carry the weight of wondering if I am keeping her from a good night's rest. But that is a part of PTSD that I know is out there that a lot of people aren't willing to talk about, and I do want to talk about it because I want people to see a very transparent and a very vulnerable view and comprehensive view on PTSD. Another thing that I found that has helped me has been ending my night with engaging the cognitive part of my brain, some type of learning. And that learning can come from the History Channel, that can come from the Discovery Channel, or something that is going to engage your mind and you are learning. It is calming to learn something new. It is calming to pay attention to something other than your anger and your anxiety and your depression and your irritability and your mood swings and all the crap that goes on with PTSD. It really is refreshing either to read and learn or to watch and learn. And it has helped me over the last year improve my sleep. Another tip is just starting over. There have been a lot of nights where I have just given up, if you will, and just got up and gone downstairs and flipped on my phone and opened up a cribbage app and played a few hands of cribbage, or watched something on TV that was interesting, something scientific. My mind really enjoys scientific things and biology and how the mind works and how the body works and how things work and history and World War II. But things that engage the cognitive part of my mind are very, very healing to me when trying to sleep, and maybe that would work for you as well. Number 7 is medication. Again, being open and honest, I take a couple of medications that help with my sleep. Sleep is very, very important for anything in your body to heal. And if you need medication to help you, don't be embarrassed. Make sure you listen to your doctors. Make sure you go to a good doctor or a good psychiatrist, and that you utilize the medication to help you, and you use it correctly, and you use it the way it's intended to be used. I can tell you that the two that I'm using right now have been very, very helpful to me, and actually recently have just started another one, the second one, that has had very, very good results thus far. I'm very pleased with it, but I'm not ashamed at all because I'm on a healing journey, and part of my purpose now in life is to help people that have PTSD or unresolved trauma, and to encourage them and to talk about topics that people don't talk about openly. And sleep is one of those things that, yes, it's a boring topic, but it's a very necessary topic, and unfortunately a lot of times it's at the very center of the battle with PTSD. Anxiety and depression make me want to sleep too much. Anger and irritability in my PTSD don't allow me to sleep. I want to talk about number 8, the last thing I want to talk about, and that's my dog, Murphy. Murphy is being trained, and is trained. He can actually sleep with people who have a problem with sleep at this point. He is trained as a contact dog that as I fall asleep, he is in bed with me and is contacting my body at some point. As a rule of thumb, up against my knees, across the back of my knees, over the top of my knees, or his head on my chest, whatever it might be. But it's unbelievably helpful. And I saw results from sleeping with a dog almost instantaneously in my battle with PTSD when things were at their absolute worst for me. My absolute bottom was a little over a year ago when everything just collapsed. And fortunately, I had a dog on the way, and I knew that I was going to experiment and go down that road of having a dog help me with my sleep disorder. The other part of a dog that I really enjoy is that dogs are so aware. And when you have PTSD, and take myself for instance, the fear and the anxiety is already way too much to think about, let alone on top of that, things that could happen in the middle of the night, whether it be me in the middle of nowhere or whether it be me staying in a suburban setting in town. And a dog is very in tune to things that are happening. They can hear things happening. They can sense things that are happening well before a human that is sleeping can sense them. And that gives me in the back of my mind a very, very good and calming feeling, knowing that if anything were to go down or happen, that my dog would alert me way before I would be able to react to whatever it is that would be happening. And that gives me one more layer of comfort on top of the whatever it is that a dog brings to the equation. I don't know what it is. I know that there have been some studies that have been started and that they're looking into the therapy of people with trauma-related disorders sleeping with a dog, and I can tell you from my personal experience, it helps me immensely. And my dog is trained very well. It took hours and hours and hours and hours of training, but he knows what he's supposed to do. He knows what he's not supposed to do. He allows me to get out of bed without jumping out of bed. He doesn't jump out of bed in the middle of the night. He allows me to get going for the start of the day and stay in bed until I command him to get out of the bed. But he has just been an absolute blessing and a godsend, not only in companionship, but also in my social aversion issues that I am having and walking through, and also my sleep disorder issues that I am still wrestling with. I want to close by telling you this. Be patient and be kind and be gentle with yourself as you wrestle with sleep disturbances of any kind. One of the things that I found is that when I wasn't patient, kind, and compassionate with myself, it made things exponentially worse. And the doctors and the therapists repeatedly have told me as I go through my recovery and my therapy, be patient, be kind, and be compassionate with yourself. With yourself. Focus on yourself. You deserve to heal. It is your journey. It is your trauma. It is your recovery. Be patient, kind, and compassionate. I ask you to click and subscribe. It would be great to have you as part of this channel. It'd be great to have you forward this to anybody that might be struggling with any of the things that I talk about in my journey. Again, my goal is to have the most comprehensive walkthrough of PTSD through the eyes of somebody that has PTSD, so people and families and loved ones can click on a topic that they may not know about and get it from the perspective of somebody who is walking the walk and fighting the fight in real time. Thank you for spending your very valuable time with me. I can't wait to talk about a more exciting topic next time. This is Trevor Swenson with PTSD Through the Darkness. We're moving through the darkness. We're not staying in the darkness. See you next time.